Hey everyone, welcome to another Stukent Expert session. Today we have Pinterest marketing expert Anastasia Gutnikova. Anastasia is the author of Pinterest SEO Traffic Secrets and a blogging educator at anastasiablogger.com. She started blogging in 2017 and now drives over 250,000 page views a month of free Pinterest traffic to her website. She monetizes Pinterest traffic with ads, leverages affiliate product sales on her sites, and sells her own digital products. Gutnikova runs 3 blogs to test her Pinterest strategy in different niches, helps her clients as a Pinterest marketing consultant, and through her courses leads hundreds of students to online success. Thank you, Anastasia, for being here. The time is now yours.
Hi there! Thank you for inviting me for this Pinterest session. I'm Anastasia at anastasiablogger.com. I'm a Pinterest marketing expert and blogging educator. And just a few more lines about me. I started my blog, which has grown into an online business by now, in 2017. And in 2 years, I'm driving over 250,000 monthly page views of free Pinterest traffic to my blog. And I monetize Pinterest traffic with ads and affiliate product sales on my sites. Plus, I sell my own digital products. And it would be fair to say that I owe 90% of my online income to Pinterest traffic, because that's actually the share of Pinterest traffic on my blog. So why Pinterest? Why I want to talk to you about Pinterest today? Pinterest is the 4th largest search engine in the United States, and it has 250 million users worldwide, of which about 50% are from the United States. Then 30% of all United States social media users are on Pinterest. And half of Pinterest users earn $50,000 or greater per year, with 10% of Pinteresting households making greater than $125,000 per year. Now, the next fact is that 93% of active pinners said that they use Pinterest to plan for purchases, and 87% said they've purchased something because of Pinterest. So if you are selling any products, your own or affiliate products, and get a lot of Pinterest traffic, your audience has the purchasing mindset. Now, next great thing is that Pinterest can drive you viral traffic, and viral pins can be revived years later. And lastly, it's important to say that bigger search engines, Google in particular, love Pinterest. They like Pinterest images and show them in image search. And not only image search, for some keywords you can easily find pins in top 10 top results, especially if it's related to recipes, DIY, and other topics that are super popular on Pinterest. So Google shows pins as results for many keywords, and if you have a popular pin, it can not only drive you traffic from Pinterest itself, but also from Google search results at the same time. So today we're going to talk about the following actionable steps. First, you will learn how to set up your Pinterest business account, to verify your website, and to enable rich pins. I'll explain later all these terms, so you don't need to worry about what does that mean, rich pins. Now, you will also learn how to optimize your Pinterest profile name and description for the best SEO performance. You will also learn how to do keyword research on Pinterest. You will know how to build your Pinterest boards with SEO in mind, so that your pins can take off fast. You will also know how to craft an ideally SEO optimized pin image for Pinterest. And you will also learn how to create images fast and in bulk. That's what Pinterest likes. It likes a lot of fresh pins, and you need to know that you can easily create pins in an online tool that is free, and you don't need to learn Photoshop for this. And the last thing I'll talk to you about is Pinterest ads, because I think they are very attractive right now, as they're new. Not many marketers are working with Pinterest ads, and they start as low as 10 cents per click, even in if you work with the United States audience. So let's start from the beginning. We need to set up Pinterest business account and verify your website and enable rich pins. So let me just explain to you why you need to use the business account as opposed to personal account on Pinterest. First is that when you use a business account, you're not violating any Pinterest terms of service. Plus, if you're not using a business account, you are missing out on great advantages of a business account, which are your pins are linked to your domain. And when they are linked to your domain, they get priority distribution on Pinterest. You also get access to Pinterest Analytics, native analytics on Pinterest. You also get access to Pinterest ads, and you can also enable rich pins. So rich pins are important because they send additional information from your site to Pinterest, and they help the platform understand what your pin is about. And so it helps Pinterest to rank your pins higher. If you're creating a brand new Pinterest account, you just need to follow the link pinterest.com/business/create. And then if you're making a conversion, if you've been using Pinterest for a while as a personal account, you can convert to business account without losing your followers. If you want to do that, you can use the link pinterest.com/business/convert. So let me just show you, I have a post on my website which talks exactly about this topic. I give you the full process step by step. I explain what do you need to do after you actually created a business account. So you'll need to go inside your profile on Pinterest. You'll need to go, let me just show you on my profile. In the profile settings, you have a place where you need to claim your website. So I cannot claim here because I already have one, but I have in this post all the screenshots. And so after you click claim a domain name, you will see this pop-up window. We'll see this meta tag that you'll need to copy later in a certain place. And I explain here in this post how you can do it easily using Yoast SEO plugin. If you're using WordPress site, that applies to you. But this one in this instruction is for WordPress, and I believe it's super easy because you don't need to mess up with HTML code. Now let's learn how you will improve your Pinterest profile for the best SEO performance. So when you do a search on Pinterest, you can filter the results, and if you choose people, you will see accounts of other users on Pinterest. And you can notice that, for example, we're searching for blogging for beginners. This is the keyword. By the way, if you try to search this on your computer, I can tell you that almost for sure that search results for you might look slightly different because Pinterest takes into account who you follow and your location. But anyway, what I'm showing you here is that I want to show you that most of the accounts that are on this page, on the top results, they have this exact keyword in the profile title. So it's very helpful to be able to target several keywords in your profile title. If you can do that, you need to try and add at least a couple of keywords that you want to target. Let me just show you that just a couple of accounts from this page. You can see that all of them have blogging for beginners, blogging, and my account as well has this blogging for beginners keyword. That's how it works for profile search, and it's especially helpful if you're trying to sell some services or promote your personal brand. That's going to work for you because when people are searching, when users are searching for people, they will find you if you use these keywords in your profile name specifically. You also need to use some keywords in your profile description. It's over here. So keep that in mind when you create your account. So let's talk about Pinterest keyword research. Is it similar to Google keyword research? Well, yes and no. It's actually much easier than Google keyword research. You don't need any fancy, expensive tools for this. You just need to use Pinterest itself. And basically it works this way. You just type in a keyword and Pinterest will start showing you additional suggested keywords. From left to right, they are ranked based on their popularity. So home organization would be much more popular keyword than home ideas, for example. And if you then click to home organization or home DIY or home decoration or any other, it will show you additional keywords that will already include home organization, and so it will make your keywords longer. But what I wanted to talk about here is the competition on Pinterest compared to Google. So if you know something about Google SEO, you probably heard the recommendation to target long-tail keywords because there is less competition for them. And so for a newer website which doesn't have high domain authority yet, it's the only way to get search traffic from Google. Luckily, Pinterest doesn't care that much about domain authority. And I'm sure that the Pinterest platform, tracks domain authority over time, but if you are a new account on Pinterest, they don't have yet any information, and instead of putting you in something like Google Sandbox, it's a place where new websites on Google are sitting for at least 6 months and they have barely any chances to rank for any competitive keywords. So on Pinterest, there is no such a place. As soon as you create an account and start publishing your pins linked to your domain, your chances to compete with older accounts are very high. And I can actually say that with 90% certainty that Pinterest algorithm gives an initial boost to all new accounts as they're just starting publishing content on this platform, and for some reason Pinterest thinks that they need to give more space to newer accounts. I've tried it with my own accounts. I have 3 accounts right now for different websites, and I've seen it on accounts of my Pinterest course students. It actually works this way. You don't need to have large following numbers when you are starting. Pinterest anyway will give you enough distribution to your pins just because you have a new account. And for the first year, if you work hard on Pinterest, it will actually pay back very well. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is building your Pinterest boards with SEO in mind, because everything comes to SEO. I want to emphasize that Pinterest is not just a social platform, even though social element is very strong on Pinterest, but still it's a visual search engine, and you need to keep SEO in mind all the time when you work on Pinterest, just like you do when you work when you're marketing on Google. So one common mistake when naming Pinterest boards is being creative. So people used to, now I think it's not so common, but it was very common on Pinterest to give names to boards such as Yummies. And then you go to the board and you find out that it's just vegan recipes. So the right way to name that board would be to say that it's vegan recipes, so Pinterest knows that it's that exactly the topic of the board. And it helps the board rank, and it helps the pins that are saved to this board rank as well. Or another example is just to say just wow, to name a board that's about outdoor travel. So if you are about outdoor travel, that's how you should name your board. It is crucial to have the keyword you're targeting in the board title, and in the board description, which is it can be quite long, up to 500 characters, you should also include the same keyword, but since you have so much more space, you can do the keyword research on Pinterest and find other related keywords and also include them into this board description. And also another thing you should do on Pinterest, you have when you're creating a new board, you can actually define the right category in the board settings. So don't forget to do that. You don't have categories for all kinds of topics, but for the most common topics, for the most common niches, you will find the right category. If you don't find, you just have to put other category, but if you can find a category, don't miss that out. It's another chance for your pins to rank higher. Now let's talk about SEO for your pins on Pinterest. So how do you craft an ideally SEO optimized pin for Pinterest? Pinterest SEO is a lot easier than Google SEO, but you still need to know which parts of pin to optimize. So let me help you here. Here is the anatomy of a healthy, keyword optimized rich pin. I already talked about rich pins, but let me just, now you can actually see what I mean by rich. What I said, that it brings information from your website to Pinterest platform, additional information. So what information is it? We are looking now at the article type of rich pin. There are other types like recipe pins, product pins, but the most common type is article type. Is just something that you will see on most websites. Products is for e-commerce sites. Recipes type of pins usually apply to sites that are publishing recipes and using some recipe plugin. So Pinterest is getting information from that plugin. But when we're talking about a normal web page, the information that Pinterest will take to the pin, attached to the pin, is post SEO title, is post SEO description, and this down here is the pin description itself. This is the information that is not dragged from your site. It's something that you save. When you save the pin on Pinterest, you will have to add a pin description. It's up to 500 characters, and you can include here as many keywords as you want. You need to try to make it readable, not just a list of keywords, and you need to use some keywords in hashtags as well on Pinterest, but it's the only place where you need to use hashtags on Pinterest. It's in the description of the pin, not on anywhere on your website. Obviously, you don't want to use hashtags in the SEO title of your post, right? So that's actually how it works. About hashtags, I just need to warn you that even though Pinterest allows to use a maximum of 20 hashtags, it's not recommended to use more than 3, maximum 5, because Pinterest has been very hesitant about adding hashtags. They didn't like the way people are using hashtags, because this comes all from Instagram, and people are used to people understand that hashtags are just sometimes funny ways to describe the content. And that's not the way. Or there is also on Instagram, there's a lot of manipulation, and Pinterest doesn't want this manipulation to happen, because it's actually a search engine, and they want the hashtag to help users and to help the platform to understand what your pin is about. So when you think about hashtags for Pinterest, it should be actually something that includes the most important targeted keyword for your pin or for your post. This is where your pin SEO description, title and SEO descriptions are in the Yoast SEO plugin if you're using WordPress. So that's the information that, like I showed you, this information comes here, and it comes from where? From the website. It's part of my post. It's under my post. I have this Yoast SEO plugin, and I have here the SEO title and SEO description. Now let's talk about crafting pin images for a ton of engagement. And I promise you that you don't need to learn Photoshop for this. I know that a lot of people have fears and get intimidating when they think about Pinterest marketing, just because they're worried about designing pins. But luckily today we have very simple drag and drop online tools. They're free tools, like for example Canva. You can write it down if you've never used it. So you don't need in Canva, you just drag and drop images. It's free. It's very easy. You can just go to YouTube and watch some 10-minute video. Obviously I'm not gonna show you here where to click and what to do in Canva, but it's really very easy. In 1 week, I promise you will be a pro in creating pins in Canva. And you don't need to pay anything, either they have a free version there. That's how you can create pins. But now I also wanted to talk about the rules of the platform and what kind of images will give you the best results on Pinterest. So first you need to know that the majority of Pinterest users are on mobile devices, and that dictates the ideal image ratio for a pin. And this ratio is vertical. And second, the currently recommended image minimum size is 600 by 900 pixels. So just so you understand, it's 2:3 image ratio. And Pinterest wants to make sure that your image has a great resolution on any device. That's why it's not recommended to make images smaller than 600 by 900 pixels. The next thing is that your images should be from 2:3 to 1:2 ratio. Yeah, I had here a slide about this. So you can just understand better visually what is 2:3, what is 1:2, and when it gets longer than this, for example, this one is 1:3, it's already going to be cut off. When a Pinterest user is scrolling down the feed, they will see this pin cut off. So if you had any important information, like they had here, for example, they will not see this information. Plus, there is a possibility that Pinterest is decreasing the distribution of pins that are longer. And I also wanted to talk to you about this interesting fact that people don't realize when they come to Pinterest. People are usually worried about this duplicate content problem that exists on Google. Pinterest recommends you to create at least 5 pins per page, per each post that you create on your website or on your blog. And I believe that they want as many pins, new images as possible on their platform, because they're growing platform and they just want to show bigger numbers every month. So the more content, the more new images you upload on Pinterest, the better for them. And so they recently, I think since middle 2018, there was a big algorithm update which resulted in this shift in the strategy that people used to repin, like republicate the same images that they had for maybe for years. If they were popular, if they were viral, you could just repin that image for months and for years and it would still work. But now Pinterest wants content creators, and there's a term, content creators. Pinterest wants us to create as many pin images, different images as possible. And so I'm just showing you here an example of how I'm trying to save my time by creating several images in Canva. They're very similar if you look at them. I didn't change much in the title, but I could actually change slightly the text overlay. And I'm changing the backgrounds, the images, the colors, I'm testing some numbers, additional analytics. So what I'm doing here, I'm A/B testing my different versions of pins. They're all linked to the same page. Pinterest likes that I have a lot of new content, and I like that I have a chance to see which of these pins works better. And over time, I will learn from this, and the next pins that I create, I will do, let's say, this pin worked better. So next time I will try to use this kind of elements in my future pins. So that's the strategy I recommend in 2019 for Pinterest. So far, I've been talking only about free Pinterest marketing strategies. So you didn't need any budget for doing what I was talking about. So it's the organic and viral free traffic from Pinterest. But you can also boost your growth on Pinterest with ads if you have some budget for this, of course. And as well, if it makes sense for the type of services of products or products that you promote. And so because Pinterest is not just a social media, but more of a search engine, a visual search engine actually, Pinterest users will often have a buyer intent. So using promoted pins, that's how Pinterest calls their ads, promoted pins, you can build your email list, you can promote affiliate products, you can increase sales, you can reach new potential customers that have buyer intent, and you can retarget to your past website visitors products and services if you have Pinterest tag on your website. At the very beginning of our class today, I showed you some stats about Pinterest audience, and I also mentioned that because Pinterest is a combination of social media platform and a search engine, users often have this buyer intent. So here are a few more stats about the users on Pinterest and how they behave directly from Pinterest. And these stats are all related to promoted pins, basically. So that's how Pinterest ads are doing right now. 50% of people make a purchase after seeing a promoted pin. $2 is the profit for every dollar spent on Pinterest ads, and 40% of the United States households that are on Pinterest make over $100,000 per year. And here is a little disclaimer about Pinterest ads. In 2018, the company made a lot of improvements in their advertising platform, and apparently they're doing this because in 2019 they're planning an IPO. So when the company goes public, they will probably follow the same path as the other online platforms like Google, Facebook, Instagram. So they will start taking away from organic reach, and they will give more space to ads on the platform. That's why I thought it's very important to mention the pay type of marketing on Pinterest, because that might be actually the future of this platform. So this ad platform is still in its infancy compared to Google or Facebook. Pinterest ads are only available in 7 countries at the moment. It's the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, and France. Actually, France is the only non-English speaking country on the map of Pinterest ads at the moment. And actually, promoted pins became available in France just in November 2018, quite recently. And also important thing here is that Pinterest ads are not widely used right now. Many marketers ignore this platform, and because of it, the competition is lower than on other platforms, and you can still get clicks as low as 10 cents from Pinterest clicks. It's targeted visitors which probably were looking for this exact keyword which you're promoting. Pinterest ads are an entire huge topic, and I believe you will hear more about them in 2019, because rumors are that Pinterest is planning their IPO, as I said, and I'll give you here just this basic information for you to understand that Pinterest ads are already quite developed, and they already give many options for different types of campaigns. So there is a type of campaign when you can get traffic to your website. So you're paying for clicks, and you can earn high quality leads and send pinners to your website using this type of campaigns. Then it's about building brand awareness. So you can gain broad exposure with current and prospective customers. And so you will be charged for 1,000 impressions. You can also increase installs for your app. It's another type of ads. You can pay here in 2 different ways. You can actually promote the app downloads on Pinterest in 2 different ways. So when you pay by install, Pinterest regularly adjusts your bid based on your budget. And when you're paying by clicks, your ad is optimized for click traffic. And then it's about building awareness with video ads. So in this case, autoplay videos are ideal for if you are trying to promote your brand or build an awareness around it. And here you will pay per each 1,000 impressions. So you can define also a list of keywords for your ads on Pinterest. And Pinterest recommends actually using at least 25 keywords for each ad that you create. So this should tell you here this is still a lot of space for growth on this platform, because if you take just one keyword, which is not super popular, Pinterest probably will have a hard time giving you a lot of impressions and clicks. That's why you need to target 25 keywords at least per each ad. Another thing that Pinterest already has there is creating custom audiences. So you can create an audience of people who visited your site or specific pages on your site. You can use your existing list of customers as well to upload them in your Pinterest ads cabinet. You can create an audience of people who engaged with pins, the pins that are linked to your domain, basically. And you can also create an acolyte audience. So this will be... It works this way. Pinterest will find people that behave similarly to your current audience. And I encourage everyone who has some experience with organic Pinterest traffic also to give promoted pins a try, because right now is the best time when competition is not high yet, and you can get clicks as low as 10 cents or even lower. Actually, you can see on this screenshot some of my campaigns. I've got clicks for 8 cents, and that's because I had very strict, very well targeted audience, but that worked. I'm going to talk to you more about Pinterest algorithm and about organic traffic and about Pinterest content strategy in the next videos. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at facebook.com Anastasia blogger, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.